My name is Evan Reynolds. I've been married to Madison for 3 years. I run a small but growing web development firm just outside of Charlotte. Nothing fancy, mostly back-end systems for local businesses, some UI design, the occasional app build. My wife, Madison, she's a personal trainer. Or at least that's what I thought she was. We live in a quiet cul-de-sac. One of those cookie-cutter neighborhoods with identical driveways and automatic sprinklers that hiss on every morning at 6 a.m. Life was stable. Comfortable. We had a routine. Shared a gym membership. Took turns meal prepping. Even talked about having kids next spring. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Until it didn't. Started small. Little things. Madison began guarding her phone like it held national secrets. She used to leave it face up on the kitchen counter. Now it was always flipped over. Her notifications went silent. Her passwords suddenly changed. The laptop we both used for taxes and grocery lists? Now it was off limits. I asked why. She shrugged and said, "Client privacy. Some of them share personal stuff." Okay, I get that. Boundaries. Professionalism. But then her schedule shifted. Suddenly, her regulars were replaced with private sessions. Late evening blocks that started at 7 and ran until after I'd gone to bed. She told me her clients were busy moms, only free after work. But she never brought in new contracts. No names.
No invoices. No updates.
Just working late in our spare bedroom, door locked. One Thursday afternoon, I was home early, cleaning out the closet in the guest room, just trying to find my noise-canceling headphones for a late-night coding binge. That's when I found it. A ring light, boxed but clearly used. Professional grade. Adjustable tripod. Color temp dial, soft diffuser screen. This wasn't some knockoff from a department store. It was the kind influencers use. I pulled it out, stared at it for a minute. Madison had never mentioned filming workouts, and we didn't do video calls at our firm. I chalked it up to something she bought for her fitness brand she mentioned once or twice. Maybe a new client wanted virtual coaching. Still, it nagged at me. But I put it back. Didn't say anything. The next night, I walked into the kitchen around 11 p.m. I could hear her voice faintly from down the hall, half laugh, half instruction. Then silence. I turned the corner toward the guest room, and the door cracked open just a hair. Her laptop slammed shut. Madison whipped around, eyes wide. She was still wearing workout leggings, but now with a low-cut tank top I didn't recognize. Her makeup was heavier than usual. Not gym makeup, camera makeup. Her hair was tied back, not messy, but styled. I blinked. "What are you doing?" I asked. She hesitated, just for a second, then smiled. "Coaching." One of my late clients flaked, so I decided to record a session for them to follow later. She sounded calm. Too calm. "Oh," I said. "You need a ring light for that?" Another pause. A beat too long. She smiled again, thinner this time. "Better lighting makes it more professional, right?" I nodded slowly. She grabbed the laptop and walked past me. "I'm beat. I'll shower and head to bed. You coming?" "Yeah," I said. "In a minute." She walked off, humming a song I couldn't name. Like nothing had happened. But something had. Something I couldn't name yet. I stood there for a long time, just staring at the door she left open behind her. And the ring light still visible inside. She said it was just a fitness coaching session. But my gut was screaming otherwise. And I was about to find out just how far the lie went. It happened on a Tuesday. The kind of day where nothing feels urgent. I just wrapped a client pitch over Zoom, poured myself a coffee, and was settling into my desk when my phone buzzed. Instagram. A new message request. No profile picture. Username was just a string of letters and numbers. @xvn_47yu. Weird. I tapped it open. One sentence. Just one. "Nice body your wife has. Shame if the whole world saw it. Pay up, or we leak everything." There was a photo attached. I don't even remember breathing for the next 10 seconds. It was Madison, no doubt, wearing black lace lingerie I'd never seen before. Posing, back arched, lips parted, looking straight into the lens. But it wasn't the outfit that twisted my gut. It was the room. The background, the pale gray curtains, the framed art on the wall. It was our guest bedroom. My house. I sat there frozen, hand hovering over the screen like it might catch fire. I zoomed in, studied every inch, looked for a watermark, a tell, something to prove it was a fake. A prank. Photoshop. But it wasn't. It was clean. Too clean. I messaged back. Who are you? What is this? No reply. I tried pulling up the account, but by the time I hit refresh, it was gone. Deleted. Vanished. My heart was pounding through my chest. I walked straight to the living room, where Madison was scrolling TikTok like nothing was wrong. Madison, I said, voice tight. What is this? I turned the phone to her. She barely blinked. What the hell is that? She asked, squinting. Is that supposed to be me? You tell me. She laughed. Evan, it's probably AI or some deepfake crap. People are doing that stuff now. Don't tell me you think that's real. I stared at her, waiting for a flicker, a flinch, a flash of guilt. Nothing. Someone's blackmailing me, I said. With your face. Your body. In our house. She rolled her eyes. Then report it. What do you want me to say? I want the truth, I said quietly. She scoffed. God, you sound paranoid. Then she got up, walked to the kitchen, and started making herself a smoothie like we weren't standing in the middle of a nuclear bomb. That night I couldn't sleep. I waited until she was in the shower, then took the image and ran it through every reverse image tool I could find. It didn't take long. The results came back faster than I expected. Too fast.
Forumträff.
Dozens. Mostly adult leaks and revenge boards. Some posts were weeks old. Others hours. They all featured the same tags. Hashtag Madison Fit. Hashtag Housewife Hustle. Hashtag She Does It for Tips. I clicked on one. Then another. And another. There were photos, dozens of them. Same setting. Same outfits. Same woman. My wife. Posted anonymously. Sometimes watermarked. Sometimes not. Some were stills. Some were blurred thumbnails with captions like, full video in next drop. I kept scrolling, my stomach turning, until I found a post with 300 plus comments and nearly 1,000 likes. At the bottom, someone had written, full leaks here. More videos dropping soon. There was a link. I hesitated. Then I clicked. The screen loaded. And what I saw next was her. Moving. Smiling. Performing. And the worst part? It was filmed in my house. The link took me to a piracy forum I'd never heard of. The banner was some cartoonish design, but the content, it was real. Way too real. The thread was titled in bold. All caps. Madison ripped. Full content dump. 20 gigabytes. Megad NZ mirror plus previews below. I stared at it for a long time before scrolling down. Thumbnails lined the screen. Grainy previews pulled from the leaked folder. But even at 200 pixels wide, I knew. It was her. It was Madison. She wasn't just posing. She was performing. There were clips of her smiling into the lens, whispering things I'd never heard her say, moaning things I'd never heard her say. The camera moved with her, followed her, tilted, zoomed, changed angles. Multiple clips were clearly filmed with more than one setup, tripod, handheld, maybe even someone else behind the camera. And the worst part? Every scene was inside our house. The beige headboard, the navy throw blanket, the nightstand where I kept my phone and wedding ring. In one clip, you could actually see it. My ring, sitting next to a bottle of lotion. That did it. I slammed the laptop shut and went looking for her. She was in the backyard doing stretches, wireless earbuds in, smiling like her world was untouched. Madison, I said. She looked up. Hey babe. Inside. Now. Her smile froze. She stood slowly, brushing grass off her leggings, and followed me in. I pulled up the site, the thread, the folder. I didn't even need to hit play. Just the title alone sent a jolt through her. Madison ripped. Full content dump. I watched the color drain from her face. She tried to recover, crossing her arms. That could be anyone. You're serious? I asked. That's our bedroom. You're being dramatic. There's metadata, Madison. Timestamps. File creation dates. You filmed this while I was at work. You can literally see my wedding ring in the background. She opened her mouth, closed it, looked away. Then, finally, she sat down and broke. I was doing it for money, she whispered. That's all. I didn't think it would go this far. She told me it started as just pictures. A few friends from her gym circle convinced her to start an anonymous page. Everyone's doing it, she said. It's like Uber Eats but for attention. Then came the tips, the DMs, the custom requests, and eventually, the videos. I asked how long. Over a year, she said. A year. An entire year of lies. So all those private sessions? That was this. She nodded. And you used our home for it? I was careful. Clearly not careful enough. She wiped her face and grabbed her phone. I'll delete the accounts. I swear. I'll take it all down. I didn't answer. I didn't move. I just walked to my office, shut the door, and sat in silence. My brain was on fire. My hands were shaking, my heart jackhammering in my chest. I opened my laptop one more time, just to check if the thread was down. It wasn't. In fact, it was trending, and there was a new message in my inbox. Different burner account this time. Too late, Evan. Your wife's trending now. And it's not just her. I stared at the message, stunned. Not just her? What the hell did that mean? And that was the moment I realized I wasn't just dealing with betrayal. I was standing at the edge of something way, way darker. After that last message, I stopped sleeping. Whatever part of me still hoped this was some horrible misunderstanding, that maybe it was just her acting out online for fast cash. That part died the second I read, and it's not just her. I needed answers. All of them. Now, I bought a prepaid phone, set up new email addresses. I created burner accounts with no connection to my real name. I joined private forums, adult content trading servers, places I never thought I'd step foot in, digital or otherwise. Each lead took me deeper. Her alias? FitVixenM. There were 3 active OnlyFans accounts. The first was what I expected, solo content. Classic subscription model. Hundreds of photos, dozens of videos, different outfits, toys, poses, all filmed in our home or rented studios. She even used our kitchen table in some shots. The second account? Much darker. At houseplay masked. Fetish content. Dominance. Submission. Blindfolds. Rope. You name it. She wore a mask in all of it. But the body, the voice, the birthmark on her right thigh? Unmistakable. But then came the third account. And that's when the air got sucked out of the room. A goddess POV underscore. The account catered to a niche market female perspective, or femdom POV. It was her holding the camera. Her voice. But she wasn't alone. Some of the shots were solo. But others? There were hands. Male hands. Holding her. Touching her. Interacting with her off camera. Sometimes she would speak to him. Hold it higher. Or, don't stop filming. That's when it hit me. Someone else was in the room. Not just a camera on a tripod. Not just solo sessions. Someone was helping her. Then, as if that wasn't enough, she hit me with the real nuke. A knock at the door. I opened it and there it was. A thick envelope from a law firm I'd never heard of. Divorce papers. Filed against me. Claiming mental cruelty. Emotional manipulation. Controlling behavior. She was accusing me of abuse. The letter inside was worse than the filing. Her lawyer was demanding spousal support, claiming Madison's content funded our lifestyle and that I had interfered with her income stream. I was being positioned as the villain, the jealous husband, the man who couldn't handle a powerful woman making her own money. And it was working. Whispers started popping up in my inbox. Clients pulled out of contracts without explanation. Even one of my longest-standing business partners sent me a terse email. Sorry, Evan, we can't be involved in anything controversial right now. It was spreading. And it wasn't just the adult world anymore. Someone had posted about me, using my full name, on a popular adult forum. Exposed by her jealous husband. Dude tried to ruin her career. Leaked her content because she wouldn't sleep with him anymore. None of it was true. But truth didn't matter online. Perception did. I was being erased. And she was gaining followers by the thousands. Couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I called my lawyer. Hired a private investigator the same day. I wanted everything: IP logs, financial records, every alias, every upload trail, every face that wasn't hers. Took 3 days. Then I got a call. His voice was calm, matter of fact. Evan. She wasn't alone. You were right. I found footage, behind the scenes, raw takes, metadata left in one of the original files. I gripped the phone tighter. Who is it? He paused. You're not going to believe this. There's someone else in the room on the camera with her. And I'm 90% sure it's someone you know. My stomach turned to ice. I opened the file he sent me, paused it, zoomed in. A figure, half covered, slightly blurred, but familiar, too familiar. Someone was in the videos with my wife, and I knew exactly who they were. I sat there in the dark, the screen glowing like a wound that wouldn't close. The file my investigator sent was raw, no edits, no filters. Just Madison, mid-setup, laughing, adjusting her sports bra. And then, a hand entered the frame. Feminine, slim, manicured nails painted a pale pink. It reached out and tilted the camera slightly, adjusting the lens before retreating off-screen. Then Madison spoke. Okay. Start it like before. Same as the hotel shoot. The voice that replied was muffled, but older, calmer. Tilt your hips a bit more. That's perfect. I froze. That voice, that tone, the cadence. I knew it. I ran the IP logs my investigator had compiled. Traced the metadata on a few of the older uploads, back when she was just testing the waters. The IP matched. Not her apartment. Not a studio. Not a rented Airbnb. Her mother's house. Valerie. Valerie had always seemed eccentric. A wine at lunch type. She'd call me sweetheart, but with an edge to it. Always asked about our sex life like it was a casual dinner topic. At the time, I thought it was just weird mother-in-law behavior. Now, felt like something worse. Something sick. That night, as if the devil wanted to twist the knife, I got a Reddit DM from a throwaway account.
No avatar.
No username history. Just one sentence. You think it's just her? Check the M&V tag. The mommy/daughter content is blowing up. And it's not just cosplay. I didn't want to look, but I did. The M&V tag was real and horrifying. Hundreds of upvotes, dozens of posts, clips and teasers labeled with things like mother and stepdaughter dominate submissive roommate. Family workout gets too intense. She learns everything from her mom. There were blurred thumbnails and even masked stills. But the backgrounds were damning. The wallpaper behind the bed, the floral drapes, the glass horse statue on the dresser. All from Valerie's house. Some of the videos were filmed in her bedroom. I clicked through one clip and paused it halfway. There they were. Madison in full makeup, sprawled across velvet sheets. Valerie standing above her, giving direction. Both of them laughing, touching, performing like it was just another day at the office. They looked comfortable, like this wasn't new, like this wasn't something forced, like it was routine. I pulled back from the desk, mouth dry, hands trembling. The person who filmed half of Madison's content, the one behind the camera, setting the angles, sometimes even in the shots, wasn't a partner, wasn't a stranger. It was her own mother. I stared at the screen in disbelief. The betrayal was bigger than infidelity. This wasn't just a marriage built on lies. This was family business. And I was the sucker financing the whole damn thing. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just drove. I barely remember the ride. Just white knuckles on the steering wheel and my heartbeat pounding louder than the road noise. I was headed to the one place I never thought I'd willingly go again. Valerie's house. She greeted me at the door with that same smug smile, like I was just a boy showing up late for curfew. "Oh, Evan," she said sweetly. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" Her lipstick was perfect. Wine glass already in hand. She was wearing a satin robe and slippers. Like this was just another casual evening in the empire of lies they'd built. I want answers, I said. Well then, she purred, stepping aside. Let's chat. We sat in her kitchen. She poured me a cup of tea like we were old friends. The table still had glitter on it from what looked like a recent shoot. Where's Madison? I asked. She shrugged. Busy. New content dropped tonight. One of her top tippers paid for a custom girlfriend experience. Then she smirked. Not that you'd know anything about satisfying her. My fist clenched under the table. But I didn't come here to punch anything. I came here for proof. And I had it tucked in my jacket pocket. A high-fidelity voice recorder. Ticking silently. Picking up everything. Cut the act, Valerie, I said, leaning in. I know it all. The accounts. The tags. The bedroom shoots. The fake tax records. The shell companies. The incest cosplay. You're in this as deep as she is. She didn't blink. Instead, she smiled. That cold, surgical smile. You finally figured it out, she said. Took you long enough. I stared at her. You're not even denying it? Why would I? She said. We're just taking control of our bodies, of our image. You men never understood the value in that. You think power is money and contracts and ring finger promises. She swirled her wine. But power is attention, Evan. Is being wanted. And Madison? She was born for this. You groomed her, I said. You used me. You used this entire marriage as a front. She raised her eyebrows. Used you? Oh no, sweetheart. You were a very useful part of the plan. A stable income. A quiet, compliant husband. Just what she needed while we built the brand. My jaw clenched. You forged tax documents in my name. She sipped her wine. Technically, Madison did. I just made sure they wouldn't trigger an audit. And the money? Please, everyone launders. The shell companies were clean, until you started poking around. She grinned. But let's be honest, you weren't going to be her forever. You were just the warm-up act. I stood slowly, heart hammering. You're disgusting, I said. This ends now. She leaned back in her chair. Oh, Evan, she said with mock pity. You're still playing checkers. This whole thing was orchestrated. Then her eyes narrowed. You go public, and we'll ruin you first. Already tried, I replied. Didn't stick. You really think anyone's going to believe you over us? I don't need them to believe me, I said, walking to the door. I just need a courtroom. Her smile faltered just a flicker, and for the first time I saw the cracks in the performance. Because she had no idea. I had it all. Every word. Every confession. I walked out of that house with more than just rage. I walked out with a full confession. Tax fraud. Wire fraud. Money laundering. Sexual content filmed in my marital home without consent. And for the first time in months, I had leverage. It was time to burn their empire down. They say courtrooms are where truth is weighed. But truth isn't heavy. It's sharp. And that morning, I walked in holding a blade made of everything they tried to bury me with. It had been 9 months since the first message. 9 months of humiliation, grief, rage, and preparation. I sat in the plaintiff's chair, flanked by my attorney and a silent storm brewing behind my ribs. Madison was across the aisle, perfectly composed, dressed like a victim in soft cream silk and diamond studs. Her expression was serene, practiced. Behind her sat a junior associate.
No, Valerie.
She'd ghosted the proceedings, like a warlord sending her daughter to the front lines, while she stayed safe behind a curtain of lies and distance. But she wasn't safe. Not anymore. The bailiff called the room to order. Opening statements were brief. My attorney didn't posture. She didn't need to. Our evidence would speak louder than any words. Then came Madison's side. Her lawyer painted me as controlling, cold, a traditional man who stifled his wife's creativity. She said I was insecure, that I emotionally neglected Madison while she was pursuing financial independence. When the words digital empowerment came up, I nearly laughed. They claimed the content was consensual, legal, and most importantly, hers. That the income she generated was the reason our lifestyle existed. She wiped her eyes at the right moments, bit her lip, gave the jury just enough vulnerability to seem broken but not guilty. It was an act, but a damn good one. Until we hit evidence submission. My lawyer stood, calm, quiet, lethal. Your Honor, we submit audio Exhibit A into the record. The courtroom speakers crackled. Then, Valerie's voice filled the room. You were just the financial cushion while we built our brand. The shell companies were clean until he started poking around. Power isn't money, it's being wanted. And Madison? She was born for this. I looked over. Madison's face drained of color. The jury turned. The judge leaned forward. It was over, and we had just started. Exhibit B, financial records. Bank statements traced back to 3 shell companies, each one registered to an address linked to Valerie. Payouts from OnlyFans, FanView, and 3 other adult platforms. Over $180,000 in revenue, hidden under consulting fees and wellness coaching. Exhibit C, tax documents. Falsified returns filed under my name. Forged signatures. Claimed deductions for content production expenses, including our bedroom furniture, cameras, lighting, even internet upgrades.
Exhibit D, leaked videos.
Metadata, timestamps, geotags, all placing the content inside my home, our guest room, our bedroom, my office chair, for God's sake. And then came the moment that broke the courtroom. A blurred freeze frame of Madison on camera, smiling, as Valerie's hand entered the frame to adjust the angle. Game, set, match. Madison cracked on the stand. Tears flowed, mascara streaking down her cheeks. She blamed her mother, claimed coercion, claimed she didn't understand what she was getting into, said she was just trying to help with the bills. But then we played the clip where she said, in her own voice, "Tilt the camera, Mom. Higher." Yeah, just like last time. You could have heard a pin drop. The judge ruled within the hour. His voice was steady, emotionless, but every word felt like a hammer to the chains they tried to lock around me. This court finds in favor of the plaintiff, Evan Reynolds.
No alimony.
Full retention of all personal and business assets. Madison Reynolds is ordered to pay $80,000 in restitution for defamation and professional damages, payable over 5 years. A formal request for criminal investigation into Valerie Martin's role in the production and distribution of adult content without proper legal disclosures is filed with the State Attorney General's office. He paused. And I strongly recommend federal oversight given the nature of the content and the parties involved. I didn't even smile. Not yet. But for the first time in a year, I exhaled without pain. Outside, the sky was brilliant. Not a cloud in sight. I loosened my tie and stood on the courthouse steps. A few reporters hovered at the edge of the lawn, hoping for a quote. I ignored them. Madison walked past me 10 minutes later, alone. No cameras this time. No attention. Just silence and a trail of broken lies in her wake. She didn't look at me. I didn't offer her that dignity. They turned their bodies into a business, turned lies into a lifestyle, and in the end, they sold their souls for clicks. But I got back my life, my name, my freedom, and now, they'll pay for every second they stole from me. 1 year later, it's been 12 months. 12 months since the gavel dropped, since the world saw through the masks, since I walked out of that courtroom a free man. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I live in Asheville now. Mountains instead of madness. Bought a quiet house on a hill with a wraparound porch, just me and my dog. An old rescue lab named Murphy. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't lie. I reopened my business under a new name, Second Layer Systems. Clean branding.
No baggy.
Just code, contracts, and quiet. Clients came back slowly, then steadily. Turns out, people respect a man who survives the worst and doesn't break. But that's not why you're still here. You want to know what happened to them. To her. To Valerie. Let's talk about that. Madison. After the ruling, Madison tried to pivot her brand, tried to spin the courtroom loss into a cancellation sob story. It worked for about 3 months. Then the truth came out. Clips leaked. Raw footage. Behind-the-scenes audio with her laughing about milking sympathy from her followers. It was clear. She was never the victim. Sponsors dropped her. Platforms removed her accounts after new policy enforcement cracked down on creators tied to illegal financial activity. She disappeared for a while. I heard rumors she moved out west. Maybe Vegas. Maybe Reno. Doesn't matter. Last I checked, she was promoting crypto scams under a fake name. From OnlyFans to OnlyFrauds. Ironic. Valerie. Now this part is justice. 6 months after the trial, the IRS audited Valerie's shell companies. They found tax evasion,
wire fraud,
failure to disclose adult content income, even falsified W-2s she issued to contractors who never existed. But what really cooked her? One of the videos they recovered included a minor, barely visible but legally present during filming. The prosecution argued negligence. The judge agreed. Valerie was indicted on 3 felony counts, including distribution of illicit material, fraud, and conspiracy to commit tax crimes. She took a plea deal. 18 months in federal prison. 5 years probation. Assets seized. Accounts frozen. Her house? Sold at auction. I didn't bid, but I smiled when I saw the listing. I watched the world do what it does best. Forget the villains once they're stripped of attention. No more interviews. No more platforms. Just silence. And me? I'm good. Not healed. Not whole. But better. I still have bad nights. Still double-check locks. Still get a sour taste when I hear the words, content creator. But that bitterness is a reminder that I made it out. That I didn't fold. Didn't become them. Didn't let the rage rot me from the inside out. A year ago, I was a husband. Paycheck. A prop in someone else's fantasy. Now, I'm just a man. And that's enough. They thought they ended me. But all they did was set me free. Thank you for watching the video and listening to the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more gripping stories. Write in the comments what you would have done in his place.